Suri Cruise has just turned 18, and for the first time in her life, she's stepping into the spotlight on her own terms. After years of silence, rumors, and endless speculation, she's now ready to talk. As the daughter of two of Hollywood's My But Show, most talked about stars, Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes, Suri's life has been anything but ordinary. From the moment she was born, the world wanted to know everything about her. But for the past 18 years, one major question has hovered over her story. What really happened between her and her father, and what was life like growing up in the shadow of one of the world's most controversial religions, Scientology? Suri was born on April 18, 2006, at St. John's Health Center in Santa Monica, California. Her arrival wasn't just celebrated by her parents, it became front page news around the globe. And it wasn't just her parents' fame that caught the public's attention. There was a strange and almost poetic twist to her birth. She was born exactly 1 year after Tom and Katie's first date at the Eiffel Tower in Paris. That perfect symmetry only added to the mystery and fairy tale image that surrounded the couple. Back then, Tom Cruise was riding high on the success of Mission Impossible 3, while Katie Holmes was still beloved for her role in Dawson's Creek. Their whirlwind romance, surprise engagement, and over-the-top wedding captured the attention of fans and tabloids everywhere. But even before she could walk, Suri became one of the most photographed children in the world. Her every move was followed by paparazzi, especially in New York City, where she and her mom would later settle down. She was dressed in designer clothes, carried luxury handbags as a toddler, and her photos would sell for thousands. But behind those glamorous images was a complicated family story, and one filled with silence, separation, and strict beliefs. One of the most fascinating details about Suri's birth is something only Hollywood could deliver. She shares the same birthday and birthplace with Greer Henchy, the daughter of Brooke Shields. Just a year earlier, Tom Cruise had publicly criticized Brooke Shields for using antidepressants to treat postpartum depression, causing a media storm. Tom, a committed Scientologist, spoke out strongly against psychiatry and medications, a belief that aligned with the church's teachings. That public feud caused a lot of tension, but surprisingly, Brooke later attended Tom and Katie's wedding, suggesting that at least publicly, the two had made peace. Still, the coincidence of their daughters being born on the same day, at the same hospital, almost felt like the universe had a sense of humor. Even Suri's name was chosen with care and intention. In Persian, Suri means red rose, which symbolizes beauty and love. In Hebrew, it means princess, suggesting grace and royalty. It was a name filled with meaning, reflecting the unique life her parents believed she would have. But no one could have predicted how quickly that life would change. Tom Cruise wasn't new to fatherhood. He already had two adopted children, Isabella and Connor, from his previous marriage to Nicole Kidman. Both were raised within the Church of Scientology and have remained loyal to it into adulthood. But Suri's path was very different. When Tom and Katie's relationship began, she went through Scientology training in preparation for marriage. Their wedding in 2006 was a massive celebration held in an Italian castle, with celebrity guests including David Beckham, Jennifer Lopez, and even Brooke Shields. It was meant to be the Hollywood event of the year, and also a significant religious event for Tom, as it was conducted according to Scientology traditions. But just beneath the glittering surface, things were more complicated than they appeared. Katie had been raised Catholic and had no background in Scientology before meeting Tom. As their relationship progressed, rumors swirled that Katie was being pulled deeper into the church. But just 6 years later, in 2012, she shocked the world by filing for divorce, and she did it with speed and precision. Many believe that move was her way of escaping Scientology's influence, especially for the sake of Suri. The divorce was filed in New York, not California, which was a critical decision. Legal experts at the time said New York courts were more likely to grant sole custody if there were concerns about a child's well-being. That strategy worked. Katie was awarded full custody of Suri and immediately took steps to remove her from the public eye and the Church of Scientology. She wanted to raise her daughter in a more grounded environment, away from the strict doctrines and media frenzy. There were reports back then that Katie feared Suri would be pulled into the church's training programs, particularly the Sea Org, a controversial branch where some members live and work under intense conditions. The idea of her daughter being sent away or even separated from her as part of the church's internal practices terrified Katie. So, she made a decision that changed both of their lives forever. Since the divorce, Tom Cruise has reportedly had little to no contact with Suri. Many believe that his loyalty to Scientology has played a major role in that distance. The church has strict policies about relationships with those outside the faith, and it's been widely speculated that Tom's continued devotion has kept him from being involved in Suri's life. While he's remained active in Hollywood and Scientology, Suri was being raised quietly in Manhattan, far from the world her father lived in. Katie Holmes dedicated herself fully to motherhood. In interviews, she's spoken about how much she values giving Suri a normal life. She enrolled her in private schools, encouraged her artistic talents, especially her love for dance and Broadway, and made sure her daughter had a childhood filled with learning, creativity, and love. She rarely posts about Suri on social media, choosing instead to keep her private life exactly that, private. In a 2014 interview on The Today Show, Katie said that raising Suri with love and stability was her top priority. She wanted her daughter to feel safe and supported, even while the world continued to speculate about their lives. In another interview with People magazine, she opened up about how motherhood changed her. It taught her patience, selflessness, and how important it is to lead by example. She tries to teach Suri values like kindness and resilience, not through speeches, but through the way she lives her life every day. Despite their efforts to stay low-key, the public has never stopped wondering about Suri. Her rare appearances, usually alongside her mom on the streets of New York, only fuel more interest. As she grew older, people began to notice how much she resembled Katie, and how she seemed to be living a very different kind of life than the one she was born into. There were no red carpet events, no flashy Hollywood appearances. Just a regular life, or at least as regular as possible for someone who was once called Hollywood's most famous baby. Now, as she turns 18, Suri is reportedly applying to colleges and making decisions about her future. And after years of silence, she's beginning to step out with her own voice. While she hasn't spoken publicly in any interviews yet, close. Sources say she's ready to talk about her life, on her own terms. There's curiosity about what she'll say about her father, about Scientology, and about what it's really been like growing up with the world watching. What's perhaps most remarkable is how she's remained so grounded. While many celebrity kids struggle under the weight of fame, Suri has stayed largely out of the spotlight thanks to her mother's careful guidance. And that, more than anything, speaks to the strength of their bond. Katie gave up a lot to protect her daughter, from the church, from the media, and from the kind of fame that can be more damaging than empowering, as the world watches to see. What Suri does next, there's a quiet respect for how far she's come. Her story isn't just about celebrity or controversy, it's about a young woman growing up in very unusual circumstances, making choices about who she wants to be, and finding her voice after years of silence. She was born into one of Hollywood's most watched families, but now she's becoming her own person. And for the first time, she's ready to tell her side of the story. If you followed Suri Cruise's journey, or if this is the first time you've heard all the details behind the headlines, what do you think about her path so far? Is she finally free from the shadows of her parents' fame and the influence of Scientology? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this story interesting, don't forget to tap the like button, subscribe for more real-life stories, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment that matters. Thank you for watching.